These topic tests are to be attempted only once you've gone through the basic concepts of the specific topic. So the process is you take the test. There are about 10 questions. Should take about 20 to 30 minutes to attempt. Once you're done with it, look then watch this video so that you get an analysis of the test, what you should have attempted, and a solution to all the questions. Plus, on our Bodhee Prep app, there are more than 200 such topic tests which you can access once you download the app. The link for the app is in the description below. Right now, this video is about the test on averages and mixtures. Test number 5 is mentioned in the app. So we'll just go through the questions one by one. And then look at the questions that should have been attempted. An overall analysis for this test would be the level of difficulty was probably moderate to difficult. Good attempt in this test would be about 5 to 6 questions. This will ensure that you have a percentile of in the range of 90-95 percentile. Ideal time again, getting those 5-6 questions correct would not take more than 15 minutes. But when you're attempting the test, while attempting, you will be able to solve some questions. In some questions, some time would be wasted. And therefore, overall attempt time would be somewhere around 23 to 25 minutes, in which you'll be able to go through the 10 questions, get your 5-6 questions correct, and would have attempted the other questions as well. Maybe solve them, may not be able to solve them. Now, what are the 5-6 questions that we should look at? We'll look at those questions at the end of the video. First, let us just go through each question and the solution and the level of difficulty for each question. Now, question number 1 says, a milkman mixes a certain quantity of milk with water and sold one third of the mixture. He then added pure milk and water to the remaining mixture. The quantity of milk and water added were half and one third, respectively, initial quantity. Since the person is selling one third of the milk and we have to calculate half and one third of the initial value, I am saying let the volume initially be 6 times x plus y. A milkman makes certain quantity of milk and water. So this is the initial quantity in which there is 6x milk and 6y water. So water and milk and water have been mixed in the ratio 6x is to 6y. He sold one third. So if one third of this goes, remaining volume will be 2/3 of 6x plus y, which will be 3 to the 4x plus y. 4x milk, 4y water. He then added milk and water. The quantity of milk and water were one half. So in this, milk added was one half, were half and one third. Half of initial quantity of mixture. Half of 6x plus y milk was added, which is nothing but 3x plus y. This is the amount of milk that is added. And water that was added was one third of the initial quantity, so one third of 6x plus y, which will be 2x plus y. So now if we look at the new volume of milk and water, milk will be, this has 4x of milk plus 3x plus 3y has been added. So 7x plus 3y. If we look at water, water would be, we had 4y water to which 2x plus 2y water has been added. So 2x plus 6y. Further, it says the ratio of milk and water is now the reverse of what it was initially. So the ratio of milk and water now will be 7x plus 3y, amount of milk upon amount of water. This is the reverse of what it was initially. Initially, milk and water was 6x upon 6y. So now it is reverse of this, which is 6y upon 6x. 6y upon 6x can simply be written as y upon x. We cross multiply 7x square plus 3xy is equal to 2xy plus 6y square, 7x square plus xy, 3 minus 2, minus 6y square is equal to 0. Divide the entire thing by y square, so we get 7 upon x by y whole square, plus y square and y cancelled, plus x by y, minus 6 is equal to 0. Substitute x by y is equal to a. So we get 7a square plus a minus 6 is 0. So look at two numbers which have a product of 7, 6 are 42 and a difference of 1. Again, the numbers are 7 and 6. So 7a plus 7a square plus 7a minus 6a minus 6 is equal to 0, which means 7a into a plus 1 minus 6 into a plus 1 is equal to 0. So 7a minus 6 into a plus 1 is equal to 0, which means either 7a minus 6 is equal to 0 or a plus 1 is equal to 0, which means a is equal to 6 by 7 or a is equal to minus 1. Obviously, the ratio cannot be negative. So a is equal to 6 by 7, which means x by y is equal to 6 by 7. We have to find the original ratio of milk and water. Original ratio of milk and water was 6x by 6y, which will be equal to x by y. And hence the answer becomes 6 by 7. Now, in terms of level of difficulty, I would say this is a moderate to difficult sort of a question. And why I'd say this is because there are two concepts involved. This is not just a mixture questions. Once we use the concept of mixtures and ratio, we should also be able to solve this quadratic equation. So multiple concepts involved, therefore moderate to difficult, and should take about 3 to 3.5 minutes to solve if we know what to do. And therefore, if I look at it as a test question, maybe a question that could be avoided in a timed test, unless the attempt is very, very high. This summer, my mother made raw mango syrup and gave it to me in a 2-liter bottle filled up to its brim. On the first day, I drank 50 ml of its content, replenished it with water. So initially, the volume was 2000 ml. 1 liter is equal to kilo hectodeca meter deci centimilli. So 1 liter is equal to 1000 ml. We had 2 liters of solution. So initially there was 2000 ml of mango syrup. 50 ml was removed and replenished with water. From the second day onwards, I drank 30 ml more than the previous day and replenished it with water. So in the next day, 80 ml was removed, replenished with water. Next day, 110 ml was removed, replenished with water. This continued till the bottle became empty. Why would the bottle become empty? Because every day more and more amount is being taken out. There will be one day when directly 2000 ml will be taken out, and that is the point at which the water will be empty or the bottle will be empty. What will happen a day before this? Every day extra 30 ml is taken out, or from the previous day the amount taken out is 30 ml more. So on the previous day 30 ml less than this would have been taken out. So 1970 ml would have been taken out, which would have been replenished with 1970 ml of water. And then on the last day 2000 ml would be taken out, and that would be the end of the bottle, or the bottle would be empty. It says this continued till the bottle became empty. What is the total quantity of water I use for replenishing the entire process? So the total water used is on the first day 50, on the second day 80, on the third day 110, and so on till the last day when 1970 ml of water was added. The sum of all of this is the total amount of water added. Now this becomes an arithmetic progression. This is 50. This is 50 plus 30 into 1. The next is 50 plus 30 into 2. And so on. The last term will be 1970 is equal to 50 plus n minus 1 into 30, for example. This becomes 1920 upon 30 would be n minus 1. So 64. N minus 1 is equal to 64. Or n is equal to 65. So the number of terms is 65. Total terms. 30 added 64 times to 50 will give us 1970. So 50 plus 30 into 64. So for an arithmetic progression, the sum is given by n by 2. So 65 by 2 into first and last, into the sum of first and last. So 50 plus 1970. This becomes 65 into 32, 2020 upon 2. This becomes 65 into 65 into 1010. 65 into 1010. So we will have a 0 in the end, and 65 into 101 will have 65 repeated. So 6565. 6565. This is ml. So to make it into liters, we divide by 1000. 65.65 liters will be the total amount of water that will be replenished. Again, in terms of level of difficulty, for me, this question would be a moderate or difficult level question because, first of all, we have to figure out the removal replacement process and see how the process ends, and then use the concept of progressions to solve the or reach the final value. Unless we know this formula, it might be difficult to solve. Also, since calculation is involved, the solving time might be a little high. So maybe in a time test, not a question which may not be attempted because multiple concepts and calculation is involved. The average market price of three shares ABC is rupees X average. Suppose the price of the shares ABC is individually ABC, we can say A plus B plus C is equal to 3X because average is A plus B plus C by 3, which is given as X. So total price of A plus B plus C will be 3X. Shares A and C lose Y rupees each. So the price becomes 1 minus A minus Y and C minus Y. And B gains rupees Y plus 2. So B becomes B plus Y by 2. As a result, the average market price of the three shares decreases by 1. So this means this is 3 into x minus 1. The price of A decreases by y, the price of C decreases by y, the price of B increases by y plus 2. So these are the new prices. The sum of prices should be 3 into average. Average is x minus 1, decreases by 1. So 3 into x minus 1. So we get A plus B plus C. A plus B plus C, 2y and y minus 3y by 2 is equal to 3x minus 3. Now a plus b plus c is nothing but 3x that was given. So minus 3y by 2 is equal to minus 3. Minus 3 cancel, y is equal to 2. The value of y is 2. Again, the logic is simple. If the average decreases by 1, the overall decrease is minus 3. If the average decreases by 1, the overall decrease for 3 values will be minus 3. And here, the decrease is minus y plus y by 2, the change. So from here, we'll get the value of y as 2. Again, in terms of level of difficulty, it's an easy to moderate question, right? Understanding it might take a bit of time, but otherwise, a basic average application there is no the amount of calculation is also limited. So definitely a question that should be attempted in about 90 odd seconds. A question that should be done in a time test. The total number of employees of MX Corp is 50% more than the total number of employees of NX Corp. All the employees of MX and NX Corp participate 50% more than NX. In a survey where they're asked to answer a question, do you think the Commonwealth Games 2010 would be a grand success? Which has to be answered in either yes or no. 80% of who say yes are from MX, 80% who say no are from NX. Okay, so if we assume that NX Corp has the total number of people as say 10, MX Corp will have the total number which is 50% more, therefore 15. This is total number. Now, if we say that number of people who said yes, total is Y. Number of people who said no, total is N. Right? 80% of this were from MX Corp. So we can say MX Corp 0.8Y were from MX Corp and therefore 20%, that is 0.2Y will be from NX Corp. 80% who said yes are from MX Corp. 80% who say no are from NX Corp. Out of N, 80%, therefore 0.8N is from here. And therefore 20% of N will be from MX Corp. What is the ratio of total number of respondents who said no to the total number of respondents who said yes? So we have to find the ratio of N by Y. Now we get two equations here. If you look at the number of people in MX Corp, 0.8Y plus 0.2N will be 15 because that will be the total number of people in MX Corp. And if we look at NX Corp, we will get 0.2Y plus 0.8N is equal to 10. Since we want to get a ratio between Y and N, what we can do is we can multiply this by 1.5 so that the right hand side becomes 15. 0.5 into 1.5 will be 0.3 Y. 0.8 into 1.5 will be 1.2 N is equal to 15. So this becomes equation 1, this becomes equation 2. Or rather 15 on both sides. So we can equate the left hand side 0.8Y plus 0.2N is equal to 0.3y plus 1.2n. This becomes 0.5y is equal to 1n, which means multiplied by 2. 0.5y is 0.5 into 2 is y. Y is equal to 2n, and therefore we have to find out n by y. What is the ratio of total number who say no to the total number of responses? Yes, n by y. So y goes down. So 1 by 2 is equal to n by y. Hence, the required ratio n by y will be 1 is to 2, or none of these becomes the answer. If we had to find y by n, then we would have said 2 is to 1. Here, 1 by 2, none of these becomes the answer. Again, in terms of level of difficulty, I'd say a moderate sort of a question. If you are able to figure out the split of the numbers, then not very difficult. Otherwise, there is a chance of a student getting lost. In terms of solution time, not very difficult numbers, and we're just trying to find a ratio. So, about 2.5 minutes is what it should take. Also, there is a very good chance that given the one of the options as 2 is to 1, that mistake might happen. So, that should be taken care of. A milkman has two containers containing mixtures of milk and water. The first container is 110 liters of milk and water in the ratio 5 is to 6. First liter has 110. So 110 liters milk and water will be broken down in the ratio 5 is to 6. So it becomes 50 and 60. 5 by 11 of 110, 6 by 11 of 110. The second container has a mixture of milk and water in the ratio 7 is to 3. So suppose milk and water is 7x and 3x. How much mixture should be taken out from the second container and added to the first so that the ratio of milk and water in the first container becomes 6 is to 5. Suppose 7x and 3x milk and water is taken out and added to the first container. So basically the volume that has been added to the first container is 10x. Now the total amount of milk will be 50 plus 7x. So the total amount of water will be 60 plus 3x. According to the question, 50 plus 7x upon 60 plus 3x is nothing but the ratio of milk and water is 6 by 5. Cross multiply 250 plus 35x is equal to 360 plus 18x, which means 35 minus 18, 17x is equal to 110. So x becomes 110 upon 17. We have to find out the volume added. So we have to find the value of 10x. So the required answer will be 10x, which will be 1100 upon 17. 17, 1100, 17, 6 are 60, 42, 102 minus 80, 7 4s are 68 minus 1 2.64. 17 sevens are 119, 1000, 17 fives are 85. And therefore, approximately 64.705 or the closest option, 64.71 liters should be added. Again, this question would be an easy to moderate question. Mixing two mixtures, the last calculation might take a bit of time. Otherwise, not a very difficult question. Should take about 2 minutes to solve. A vessel is full of a mixture of milk and water comprising 60% milk. 6 liters of the mixture are withdrawn from the vessel and then replaced with pure water. If the milk now comprises 36% of the resultant mixture, how much does the vessel hold? We can use removal replacement to solve this. We can use alligation to solve this. For example, if I use removal replacement, we'd say the final, because water is being added, final concentration of milk is 30%, initial was 60% into 1 minus 6 liters of mixture withdrawn from the vessel upon 1 minus volume removed upon total volume. So if we solve this, we'll get 36 by 60 is equal to 1 minus 6 by V. 36 by 60 becomes 6 by 10 or 3 by 5. So 6 by V becomes 1 minus 3 by 5, which is 2 by 5. So V becomes 5 into 6 by 2, which is 15 liters. 6 out of 15 is 4 out of 15. 60%. Hmm. So how much does the vessel hold? V holds V, which is 15 liters to start with. If we are using alligation, what we can say is after the removal happens, we are adding water. Now, milk initially, or the remaining milk is 60% milk. Water that is added is 0% water, and finally we get the ratio is 36. So if we look at the difference here is 54, 24, and here it is 36. So the ratio is 3 is to 2. Since 6 liters of water was added, 2 threes are 6, so that means the amount of solution remaining will be 3 threes are 9. So 9 liters is remaining, 6 liters of water is added, that means 6 liters had been removed. So the initial volume will be 9 plus 6, which is 15 liters again. In any case, the question should not take too much time to be solved. If removal, replacement, and mixture is something that we're comfortable with, a question that can be solved easily within 90 odd seconds, easy to moderate level, probably a question that should be done in a time test. A vessel contains 20 liters of pure alcohol, 20 liters of pure alcohol. 5 liters of the alcohol is first replaced with water, and then 4 liters of the solution, diluted alcohol, is again replaced with water. Seems to be a direct application of removal replacement. What is the ratio of alcohol and water in the vessel now? Okay. So the final ratio, just applying the formula for or final fraction of alcohol is equal to initial fraction of alcohol into 1 minus volume removed upon total volume of the solution into 1 minus volume removed upon total volume of the solution. Writing the direct formula for removal replacement, and therefore final fraction of alcohol will be, initially it was pure alcohol, so fraction of alcohol was 1 out of 1. 1 minus 5 liters out of 20 was removed, and then 4 liters out of 20 was removed. This becomes 1 by 4, this becomes 1 by 5. 1 minus 1 by 4 is 3 by 4. 1 minus 1 by 5 is 4 by 5. So this becomes 3 by 5. So the final fraction of alcohol is 3 by 5, which means alcohol upon alcohol plus water is 3 upon 3 by 3 upon 5, which is nothing but 3 upon 3 plus 2. So what is the ratio of alcohol and water? If alcohol and water, we look at the ratio, alcohol is 3 parts, water is 2 parts, and the required ratio is 3 is to 2. Again, direct application of a formula, so easy question, should not take more than 90 odd seconds to solve. A question that should have been attempted. If k liters of a solution of x% milk, 2k liters of a solution of y% milk, 3k liters of a solution of x plus y% milk are all mixed in a vessel, the resultant solution is 50% milk. Find the resultant concentration of milk in 40 liters of the first solution and 50 liters of the second solution. So what we do is, first, let us look at the first information given and make an equation to find a relationship between x and y if possible. So x% of k liters will be the milk in the first part, plus y% of 2k will be the milk in the second part, plus x plus y% of 3k will be the milk in the third part. This is given to be, in the mixture 50% is milk. So 50% of the total volume will be k, 50% of k plus 2k plus 3k. So this means xk upon 100 plus 2yk upon 100. X% of k is x upon 100 into k, plus 3kx plus 3ky upon 100 is equal to 50% is 1 by 2. So 3k, 4, 5, 6k. 6k into 1 by 2 is 3k. Now k can be cancelled out throughout the equation and 100 cross multiplied. So we get x plus 2y plus 3x plus 3y is equal to 300. And therefore we can say 4x plus 5y is equal to 300. Now the question says, what is the concentration of milk when 40 liters of the first solution and 50 liters of the second solution are mixed? If we get 40 liters of the first solution, milk will be x% of 40 liters. plus y. The second solution will have y% of 50 liters. This will be total milk. So concentration of milk will be x% of 40 upon y plus y% of 50 upon total volume, which is 40 plus 50. This can be written as 40x upon 100 plus 50y upon 100 upon 90. This further can be written as I am cancelling a 0 0. So 4x plus 5y upon 900. 4x plus 5y we've calculated as 300. So the required concentration of milk will be 300 upon 900, which is 1 by 3 in fraction. To convert it into percentage, we multiply by 100, or 33.33% becomes the answer. Option B. Again, a moderate level of question. The only problem is starting these kind of questions becomes a little difficult. We tend to go for assuming values and trying to uh, have some starting point for the question. Uh, Realizing that we don't need to find the exact values, and just having a relative idea of the relation between x and y will give us the answer is something that might be a little difficult to understand at the beginning of the question. Therefore, I'm saying a moderate question. Otherwise, not too much of calculation involved per se. There could be some mistake which could happen while managing this percentage and the equation. Therefore, a moderate level of question should be able to solve this within about 3 odd minutes. Uh, this is question number 8. This question says there are n students in a class having roll numbers 1 to n. Each student calculate the sum of roll numbers of all the other students in the class. Now, sum of all the students. Sum of natural numbers from 1 to n is given by n into n plus 1 by 2. Now, if we look at roll number 1 will write the sum of all the numbers, so we'll write n into n plus 1 by 2, except his own roll number, so minus 1. Sum of roll numbers of all the other students. Roll number 2 will write n into n plus 1 by 2, sum of all the numbers minus his own roll number, and so on till the last person who will write n into n plus 1 by 2, the sum minus his own roll number. If the average of the sums calculated by all the students. Now we know the sums calculated by all the students, we find out the total sum of these. Total sum of these will be, this sum will be used n times, minus 1 to n. So we will get n times, we will have the sum n into n plus 1 by 2, minus we will have numbers from 1 to n. This number added n times. In the negative, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to n that is added. So this becomes, or the total sum becomes, n into n, or n square into n plus 1 by 2 minus n into n plus 1 by 2. N into n plus 1 by 2 can be taken out common. Here we will be left with n, and here we will be left with 1. So the sum that we get is n into n plus 1 by 2 into n minus 1 by 2. N into n plus 1 into n minus 1 by 2. This is the total sum we get. And therefore, the average of the sums will be, n into n plus 1 into n minus 1 by 2 is the total sum. The number of observations was n because each one calculated a sum. So the average will be given by the sum upon n. And therefore, the average comes out to n plus 1 into n minus 1 by 2. The average is calculated as 161 by 2, and therefore we can say n plus 1 into n minus 1 by 2 is equal to 161.5, which means n plus 1 into n minus 1. N square minus 1, a plus b into a minus b, a square minus b square is equal to 161.5 into 2, which means n square minus 1 is equal to 132, sorry, 320, 323, 323, which means n square is equal to 324, which means taking the root n is equal to 18. How many students are there in the class? The number of students in the class was n, or 18. Again, number of, or the sum of n numbers, making the cases, adding, and then just being able to manage the sum and the equation will give us the answer. There are a couple of steps involved and therefore a moderate level of question. But once you get going, this should not take more than 2.5 minutes to solve, for about 3 minutes. That is the overall level of this question. On 1st January 2000, the average age of a family of 6 years was 8 years. On 1st January 2000, 6 members, average is A. Average age is A. After 5 years, a child was born in the family. After 5 years, that is in 2005, a child is born to 6 plus 1 members. And 1 year after that, 2006, the average age was again found to be A. There are 7 members. Average age is still A. What is the value of A? Now, if we look from 2000 to 2006, we can say that the average age of the 6 members would increase by 6 years and therefore 36. So, what I'm saying is in 2000, there were 6 members, each with average age. In 2006, we have 7 members, each with average age. So, basically, for these 6 members, their age will increase by 6 years each on an average. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there, the 7th person in 2006 is just 1 year old. Since the average of each of these number is A, that means all of these 6 people would have given their 36 extra 6 years to this person, and then therefore this person reached an age of A. So what will be the value of A? A will simply be 6 into 6 plus 1, that is 37. If we are making equations, what we'll say is in 2007, we have 6 people who have an average age of A plus 6, because this 6 people in 2000 had an average age of A. So in 2006, their average will be A plus 6. Plus, there is one person who is aged 1 who was born in 2005. This is the total age of the 7 people. But on an average now, their age is 7, and therefore this should also be equal to 7A. New average into number of people, which means 6A plus 36 plus 7 plus 1 is equal to 7A, which means A is equal to 37. Either this or this, the whatever is more intuitive for us, we can solve that. But again, overall, the level of question will be moderate. Again, if you've been doing previous year questions, this is the kind of question that you would have been attempted. Typically, this question when it arrived, when it was asked in CAT, it had, I think, a family of a couple who had a child, and that is what the question was. Should not take more than about 2.5 minutes to solve a moderate level of question. Now, if you look at the overall analysis, as I said in the beginning of the test, the overall level of difficulty is moderate to difficult. A good attempt here, that is a 90 to 95 percentile, would be a net correct attempt of 5 to 6 questions. And going through the test overall should take about 23 to 25 minutes if you're not doing a commentary. So yeah, if you're attempting, 23 to 25 minutes should be sufficient to go through the questions and get that score. Which question should have been attempted? As far as I am concerned, the 5 to 6 questions that you are attempting could be amongst these 6, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Which are these questions? So I would have missed this. I would not have attempted this, not attempted this. If I'm looking for a 95 percentile, this is the first question that I would attempt. 3. I would probably leave this as well, because yes or no was, or percentage of which part was to be calculated, was a bit of a confusion. This definitely standard process. This definitely standard process, straight formula. Again, a straight formula, so would have attempted this. Here also, because writing the equations once the equation was done, solving was not very difficult. Therefore, I would have attempted this or one of these questions. Since I've done this kind of a question before, I would have attempted this as well. And probably these are the 6 questions from which I would have 3, 5, 7, 8. 9 or 10, you can take a call. I've written 10, but again, if you've attempted any one of these questions, 9 or 10, whichever you've attempted earlier, is a question that you could have attempted. So overall, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10, choose one. Could be the question that should have been attempted in this test.